Right, so this class, you might, if you're tight in your shoulders or your hips, we're going to be doing some binding things. A handkerchief will do, a sock will do, a t-shirt will do. But if you know you want to work on that stuff, yeah, Tony will be demonstrating really well. This is Tony, my partner. He lives here, so he's become, one of our yoga demonstrators very quickly. So he's here with us. And then I also want to let you know that my two dogs are here. Albert is just off camera, and I'm sure will make his way into shot at any time. And my other dog, Oakland, may come down the stairs, and maybe like giant dinosaur dog is in the shot for a moment and things like that. So I appreciate your patience with that kind of thing. It's just, a hazard of being at home and filming class. So thank you. I appreciate that. And then what I usually ask is that everyone mute. I can mute you this way, and I will, but make sure that if you don't want to be seen in the little box of you, that you just make sure you're not visible at any time that you don't want to be seen. Does that sound like a reasonable thing for us to do with technology? If there's any questions or you feel confused, let me know, and I can do it manually from this side of things. I'm just going to get Greta in here. Hi, Stacy. I'm going to mute you from this angle so you don't have to worry about the technology. And then Greta will get in and we'll get started. The playlist, I put it out on Instagram, but if you're looking for it, you can let me know. But generally, you don't have to love my playlist or use my music. You're totally welcome to use your own and do your own thing. I'd like to be actively muted. If you just asked me, I can't see you and I can't hear you. You're all good. I got you from the chat. Yes, cool. All right. So if you don't want to be seen, you click on the little camera icon. And if you do need to be seen for some reason, but you're very small, I promise it would be very hard to see you if there was an accident anyway. Okay. All right. Let's get started with practice. I like to begin by uniting with 3 rounds of the seed sound of Om. So sit up tall. If you have a stack of books or a couple of blocks, you're always welcome to sit up on something. And you could always sit in a chair or choose a different position if sitting is not for you. And bring your hands to rest anywhere that doesn't draw too much unnecessary attention to them, or close your eyes. Feel free to gaze down at one spot on the earth in front of you if that resonates a little bit more with you than closing your eyes. And I just want to offer very simply, as you start to center and ground, that how things are right now are the right way for them to be, right? That there's this idea of sort of how karma moves forward, how dharma moves forward through space. And we often look back and think, what did I do that created this situation? Which is not necessarily an unwise thing to vet. But in the here and now, I just want you to take time to validate however it is that you are feeling. And that really, a friend of mine said it this way, that like, things are really off the rails right now. Like a lot of things are changing and we're dealing with a lot of change and a lot of stress and a lot of trauma all the time. So be very kind with yourself. This practice is an offering for you to address yourself, to utilize as a tool of empowerment, and thinking a lot about self-sovereignty and how, especially as changes like this happen and we have this opportunity to remake and rebuild things, hopefully, and see things from a different perspective, those of us who are turning inward actually start to feel a great deal of responsibility to turn that inward wisdom about unity and compassion outward, because now it's become clearly a solve that the world is looking for, right? We need it. We see the intensity of things. And so allowing yourself maybe just to let pressure soften and to know that how you feel is right, the time you need is right. There's no requirements, there's no playbook, there's no one way through this. And what you're already doing in your way through your path as it's happening is already the right way. So that means like pajamas and ice cream could be the right way. That means being happy and feeling productive could be the right way. It means being of service could be the right way. But knowing that to turn towards what is, to know how to address the future, how to address the present within it. We have to be willing sort of to be with ourselves and to let the present be what it is, as opposed to managing it towards some other idea. If that's not for you, it's always okay to let these ideas settle somewhere else and to turn back towards your own focus. I think in a simple way, you might just consider this an opportunity to be compassionate to yourself and compassionate towards the realities that you're observing. And we'll begin by chanting 3 rounds of the seed sound of Om to draw into energetic community. I've been mentioning a little quantum entanglement while we're all in different places. Creating this same vibration together will bring us into space from a physics point of view together. Exhale the air you have in your lungs. And take a slow inhale in through your nose. And open mouth exhale, HA. Inhale, prepare for Om. Take a long inhale in through your nose and a slow exhale out. And let's begin today in Balasana in Child's Pose. So many of you have context. Bring the tops of your feet and your shins down. You can do a little vetting of your circumstance, noticing if you need knees together or wide, drape your body forward onto or between your legs. You might choose to take your arms out in front or back by your hips. You are always welcome to take a different shape. Often, child's pose is not for us. Sometimes putting a lift between your hips and your heels or between your calves and your hamstrings can be of use. But if you know lying on your belly or your side or your back is going to be more kind, or returning to a seat is for you, then allow that to be so, just as you always would. And then as you begin to settle down and in, you might close your eyes and begin to notice how things are. Notice what you're paying attention to in the periphery of your sensations. And you might be in a space that you've been spending a lot of time in. So you might sort of try to notice some of the details that aren't so everyday. Listen for the more subtle sounds with your ears. See the more subtle sights with your eyes, even perhaps those of the sparks behind the backs of your closed eyelids. Notice what you taste and smell, what you're touching, what the temperature is. And allow this to be an external form of practice, being sensitive, paying attention. Letting that same sensitivity, that listening awareness turn inward towards the felt sense in your body. Where are things compressed or extended? Where are they soft or easy? Where are they active? Where are there old aches and new pains? Where is there resistance? And as you start to move into this space of allowing, noticing, know that it's always courageous to really pay attention to how things are, right? To seek perspective, knowing that our eyes and our ears have developed over a millennia to take in this information, and still there are holes, right? Light we can't see, sounds we can't hear. And so it gives us perspective as we turn inward and build a listening sense to the internal point of view, that there are always going to be blind spots, as it were. And the more sensitive we become, the more we're able to fill in the information and see things clearly for how they really are. Noticing the energetic point of view, how you feel on this Friday morning, if there's any mood or quality to be attended to or acknowledged. Noticing any mental patterns, your thoughts. What are you thinking and how are you thinking it? And what is the form of your thought and what is the content? Do you pitch into the future, anticipation, anxiety, expectation? Do you lean into the past of memory, reverie, regret? The breath is always happening now, in this moment, the breath that you're taking. We draw ourselves into the now moment because that's where karma is. That's where we have power. That's where our sense of self sovereignty allows us to be with what is. And so, as you turn towards your breath, and before we move into our breath practice and awareness, I want to keep a moment for consent. Take a moment and think about your self consent, right? Often we ask ourselves to do things, we ask the body to do things that maybe aren't as kind, and maybe you're tough, right? You can do it. But just take a moment to notice, right? What are you asking of yourself? And does your deep self consent to this kind of work? And how can you let that power come forth as a compassionate action? Remember also that you have consent power, even though I'm in another room, right? If I'm asking you to do something that you know does not empower you, is not kind for you, then please take hold of your own consent practice and decide to do something else. Give yourself space to work in a way that really serves your own experience. Let's find the ujjayi breath, the upward liberating or psychic breath. Exhale the air you have in your lungs and get a little extra empty. You might press some air away at the bottom by gathering your navel back. Then slowly inhale through your nose, breathing down through your sinuses, into your throat, into your belly, and down into your rib cage. Fill fully. When you feel like you've filled up, pause at full and hold it softly. Open mouth exhale, HA. Good. And when you're ready, inhaling in slowly through your nose again, breathing to fill your back body, your low back, and your back ribs, your shoulder blades, maybe all the way up to the space, the back of your heart, and hold it. Open mouth exhale, HA. Ujjayi pranayama. Breathe in through your nose, snoring. Fill your body up three-dimensionally. Listen for it like the sound of ocean waves crashing, and hold it softly at full. Seal your lips and breathe through your nose, that exhaling through the nostrils. Same HA sound as when the mouth was open. And continuing to breathe in this way. Inhale in through your nose, snoring and sighing. Exhaling out through your nose, emptying and releasing. And continue this practice. This is the primary practice, the breath, breathing in and out through your nose. If you need to sigh out through your mouth or flutter your lips or take an HA at any time, remember that you always can. And little by slowly, as you start to breathe in a way that is your own, in and out, filling the rib cage, filling the body, begin to move your child's pose forward and upward towards a hands and knees position, towards a tabletop shape. You'll stack your shoulders over your wrists and bring your hips up over your knees. You can spread your fingers out wide and then start to move around a little bit and take your time to arrive, right? You don't have to get there quickly. Let there be some process, but keep breathing. You can shift from side to side, front to back. You might stretch out your wrists by folding one hand and then the other. Breathe as you go. You might start to practice just what is it to move and breathe at the same time. You might consider the quality of your breath also as affecting the quality of how things are. So if you can slow the breath down and let it be something that is familiar within your purvey, perhaps within your control, if you think of it that way, something you can be comfortable with, and allow yourself to make the quality of the breath like the way you'd set up a room for your own comfort. Let the quality of the breath build space for you and attitude and awareness. And slowly in the next couple of exhales, find your neutral stack in the hands and knees position, the tabletop. You might take some time. Often I suggest that you draw your shoulders down your back and try to stack your shoulders over the center of your wrists as opposed to the tops of your shoulders over sort of the fingertips. And draw your knees under the sockets of your hips. Wherever it feels stable is best. Inhale to cow pose, drop your belly, lift your chin up, your tailbone up. And exhale to cat pose, tuck your chin, round your spine, dome your shoulders, and continue through these two, inhaling And exhaling. If you find bearing weight on the wrists is not for you, you can also do this action from a seat with the arms forward or up, going inhale to open and exhale to close. This is the opportunity to give you a few more options. I always will. If you know how to do what you're doing, then do it. And feel free to add. You can experiment. There might be wiggling. You can always stretch out as you need to, roll your neck out, move your body through space in a way that makes sense. And it doesn't have to be anything particularly beautiful or performative to be of value, right? All of the different cards in your deck are valuable to play with. I like to think of the deck I'm talking about really as like your, tarot deck. Giving yourself a little bit of space to think of it as something that there might be like negative moments inside of those images and ideas, but really they're holistic. We're using them to get a broad picture. And slowly, exhale by exhale, return towards neutral tabletop. Press down into your right hand and inhale, take your left arm out and up, reach up for the ceiling and pause. Turn your gaze up if your neck allows, or feel free to hang the head if it doesn't. And as you rotate your ribs, you might take your bottom right fingertips and turn them a little out to the right so you have a little more space to drop your shoulder blade into your back. All right, we're going to do a little movement, a little Kriya action. Inhale to roll open and exhale towards threading the needle, but hover above the ground. Draw your left arm underneath and let your shoulder hover over the earth. Inhale, take your left arm back out and up, reaching upward. And exhale, thread it underneath and behind. Good. Inhale, take it out and up. Exhale, thread it underneath and behind, and this time land on your shoulder, maybe your ear or jaw, and come down to your head and neck if you like. I suggest that you don't brace with your neck too much. You try to give yourself ability to relax. Sometimes we're more forward or more back with the landing pad, and sometimes we twist more. Breathe into the space behind you, the back seam of your rib cage. I don't know about all of you, but I've noticed like neck tension and shoulder tension galore at this time. Who knows, right? We all have our own patterns, our own coping mechanisms in the body. And if you moved it, return your right hand to the mat next to your nose. And inhale, take your left arm back out and then up, reaching upward. And this time, exhale, swim it forward. We're going to make circles like you're doing freestyle in the pool. Inhale, reach your arm back and up. And exhale, reach it forward and down. You can bend your elbow if you like to get into it a little bit. Inhale, around one more time. One more full circle with your breath. And exhale to place the left hand down. Heavy in the left hand. Inhale your right arm out and then up, reaching upward and breathing. As you turn to twist, again, you might turn your left fingertips out to the left so that you have a little more room. Make sure it feels stable for you. Breathe. If looking up is a lot in your neck, hang your head instead. Sometimes it feels nice to do that and create traction by moving that upper arm around a little bit. Good. Take an inhale to prepare, and on the exhale, thread the needle underneath and behind to hover a few inches above the ground. Inhale to reach your arm out and up, looking upward, and exhale to thread the needle underneath and behind. Inhale, take it out and up. This time, exhale under and behind and land on shoulder, ear, or jaw, and breathe. And again, you can wiggle and move. Some of us are movers, like that's how we get into things. Sometimes stillness feels like the best energy, more passivity for the day. But keep churning your breath, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. The breath is an information giver in the here and now. It's also an intuition freer. It gives us perspective. Anytime you feel like, what should I be doing right now? Almost always the answer is breathe. Breathe on purpose. Breathe with kindness. If you moved it, return your left hand to the mat near your nose. And inhale, unthread, reach out and then up with your right arm for the sky. And exhale, swim your arm forward like freestyle. We'll do a few circles. Inhale, take it back and up. You can follow with your eyes if you wish. Exhale it forward and down. One or two more times, inhaling and exhaling. When you feel ready, place your right hand down next to your left. All right, walk your hands forward. We're going to come into the Sphinx pose. I'm going to scooch a little bit back so we can see our yoga model. Climb up onto your elbows, your forearms, and right away, if this is too high, feel free to lower yourself down. Oh, I'm afraid people are getting kicked out, so I'm already trying to let you back in. All right, there we go. Lift your heart up and draw your navel in. And elbows can go more forward. Sometimes more forward action gives us the ability to sort of lift up higher. Sometimes wider out to the sides will let you come back down a little lower so that there's not so much compression in the shoulders. We are trying to put some emphasis into the lower back. Sorry if that noise was weird on a microphone. I'll try my hardest not to do it again. Lift your chest up and drop your shoulder blades down your back. Option to hang your head or to place a lift or a cushion underneath it if you wish. We're going to do a little work with the legs. While you do this, I'm going to suggest you tuck your tail a little bit and draw your belly in. I'm exaggerating. I used to have a cruel teacher who would talk about like golf balls under there. Let's not imagine anything too hard. And draw your navel in and take an inhale. And on the exhale, begin to bend your right knee and squeeze your toes towards your tail. And we're going to go back and forth. Inhale, straighten the right leg, bend the left knee, squeeze toes to tail. Good. And continue with your breath. Try to keep your tail tucked, your navel in, and your breath moving. The rest of it sort of looks like you're at a slumber party in like 1968 or something. You know, you're just living the carefree life back and forth with your feet. Ujjayi pranayama. And here for the last few breaths, if you'd like to bend both knees and squeeze your toes to your tail, or let both legs stay long as alternatives, do. And breathing for 3 rounds of Ujjayi breath. Good, and release the legs long and slowly bring your upper body down to the earth, and we'll take crocodile. So take your right arm straight out to the right. I'm going to show you with my left arm because it's close to the camera. Thumb at about nose height. You're going to roll to the outside edge of your right hip and drop your other hip behind. Now you can bend your knees and stack them one on top of the other. And I'll let Tony show you. Or you can drop your top leg behind. Relax your neck and let your head hang. You can always put it on a block. Albert is here as well. And breathe. Relax your jaw, tongue, and teeth. Would you like a lift for your head? It's just there right here. Oh, there you go. Awesome. And then you can let your shoulder compress. So it doesn't have to be super extreme. You might be more on your belly and supporting yourself with your opposite hand. You don't need it. You can drop it behind you. All right, slowly return your left hand to the mat and roll back onto the front seam of your body. And we'll switch sides. Take your left arm out to the left with the palm on the earth. Look to the right and roll to the left. Nice. You can always bend your knee and land your foot on the ground. The idea is to let your glutes get a little bit soft too, so your shoulders know they can be soft. And as best you can, relax your left arm. Some of us, it might feel good to bend your elbow a little and push your hand into the ground, but be very kind with action. Might get real tender real quick. Take another few rounds of breath. Good, and as you feel ready, you can use your right hand to support you as you roll back onto the front seam of your body. And draw your hands palms onto the mat underneath your shoulders. Let elbows poke up. Even draw them back towards the ribs, wherever the palm stays on the ground. Kick your feet down. Inhale, Cobra, Bhujangasana. Put your head, neck, and shoulders up. Keep your head, neck, and shoulders up. And exhale, tuck your chin and bring it as close towards your chest as feels kind for you. Keep your neck in this position. Press into your hands and inhale. Lift your ribs just a little bit higher, maybe a micro quarter of an inch. And on your exhale, bring the whole business down to the mat. Curl your toes under and press into your knees or toes. Inhale through table, or if you're into plank, feel free. And exhale to down dog. Curl your toes under, spin your hips high. Remember, table is always an alternative to downward dog. You can always hang out in it. You can also take the dolphin down dog if your wrists start to get sore. With bent knees even can be nice. But move around your down dog in your own way. Nod your head yes and no. You might stretch your feet and scrunch them out. Bend your knees and lift your tail. Nod your head. Move around in any way that feels good for you. Keep breathing as you do it. I think at home it can be nice to think, oh, I'm patting the cat and I'm still doing Ujjayi pranayama, still practicing. Oh, I have to go, turn off the stove, but I'm still practicing, right? Allow yourself to let even those sort of small miracles be a part of your practice if they need to be attended to. And inhale, bend your knees and look for your hands. And exhale, slowly walk your feet up to where your hands are. And we'll hang in a ragdoll form of forward folding. Bend the knees if you like and hang the upper body. You might flip your palms up or grab for your elbows, nod the head or sway from side to side. I've continued to learn a lot about how our bodies are diverse from an internal point of view. It's like whether you can fold deeply or not is not necessarily just, oh, are your hamstrings tight? How is your lower back structure? How does your pelvis sit? Try to honor your body by not trying to force it into any shape. To let the shape just be something your body converses with. And slowly bend your knees and round yourself up towards a standing position. You can drag your head and your fingertips and roll yourself up one bone at a time. When you get to the top, use a couple of exhales to roll your shoulders down your back and stack your head in relative neutral above the rest of your body. And either close your eyes or gaze at one spot out in the air. And take a moment again just to notice how things are, to notice the courage of paying attention. And paying attention doesn't necessarily mean always shining the light of your awareness just on that thing that is causing you the most distress. Sometimes that's just a loud internal instinct, a survival instinct, our lizard inside, our mammal saying, watch out. Remember, you have other things to be aware of, your creative energy, your ability to be compassionate, your ability to be kind, your ability to cognate and discern. And see if you can continue to pay attention even to just the subtle things. Remember, as long as you're breathing, there's still a shot at hope. And take an inhale, open your eyes if they were closed, and exhale, tune into what's around you. I'm going to do a little Surya Namaskara A. Inhale, take your arms up overhead, reaching upward. Exhale, forward fold, dive down, bend your knees as needed, hang your upper body. Good. We're going to inhale to half lift. You can bend your knees, press hands to shins, thighs, or maybe a low table. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to do that 2 more times because lower backs and stuff. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart. Exhale, forward fold. One more time in your own breath and timing. And then plant your hands and step to plank position, upward push-up. Take an inhale to shift forward, and on your exhale, bring your knees to the mat. Either lower all the way down or option to stick out your tail and lower your chest and chin towards the earth. Either way, inhale to Cobra, Bhujangasana, peel your heart up. Exhale, bring your chin or forehead down. Inhale, Bhujangasana, peel your heart up. Exhale, bring your chin or forehead to the earth. One more time, follow your breath. Curl your toes, knees or toes. Inhale, plank or table. Exhale, down dog, spin your tailbone high. Heels might drive low. You're always welcome to keep your knees bent and your heels lifted. Exaggerate the extension of your spine. Over time, as you extend your spine, you'll work the opposition of heels down to strengthen that extension ability. Inhale, bend your knees, lift your gaze. Exhale, step or float to the top of your mat. Hang in ragdoll, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, arms up pose. Urdhva Hastasana, reach to rise and inflate to stand up. And exhale, Samastitihi, let the arms come by your sides, find neutral pose. Inhale, arms up, reaching upward. Exhale, forward fold, dive down in your own way. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll to set the length of your spine. Exhale, hands down, step back, plank pose, and pause, and upward push-up position. And breathe. So right away, if you need to do plank from your wrists or elbows, do. If you need to bring your knees down to support the weight of your pelvis so your lower back has some relief, feel free. Remember that the plank pose doesn't mean anything, right? You have nothing to prove. In other words, you're already super valid and the way you're doing it is already right. Press into your thumbs and spin your biceps a little forward and see if that helps you feel integrated in your middle back. Now, you can do any form of these vinyasas. Most of you already know this. You could take knees, chest, chin, lower down through cobra. You can do the whole kit and caboodle every time, but please be kind to yourself. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, chaturanga, lower halfway or lower all the way. Inhale, up dog, pull your heart through your arms, tops of your feet down. Exhale, downward facing dog pose, tail high, heels low, and breathe. Ujjayi pranayama. Feel your thumbs on the ground as you breathe. Notice how your hands can support you. Try to relax your neck and shoulders and extend instead through your shoulders by pressing into your hands. And that extension, instead of extending upward because you're upside down, should extend into your lower back and your middle back. Your tail heads more towards the sky, even if it doesn't go very far in that direction. Take an inhale, bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, step, hop, or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up pose, Urdhva Hastasana, reach to rise. Extend your heart up as you plug your heels down. Exhale, Samastitihi, arrive at neutral, arms come by the sides. Ekam, inhale, arms up, reaching upward. Due, exhale, forward fold, dive down. Trini, inhale, halfway lift, unroll. Chatwari, exhale, hands down, step or float back to chaturanga of your choosing, half or all. Inhale, upward dog or cobra from the belly. Exhale, downward dog and breathe. Ujjayi pranayama. Your next available exhale, step or float forward to the top of your mat, arrive on the soles of your feet. Inhale, unroll your heart halfway. Exhale, fold down deeply. Inhale, arms up pose, Urdhva Hastasana, reaching upward. And exhale, Samastitihi, find neutral. We're going to do two more. If you have your own timing, take it. Inhale, arms up, reaching upward. Due, exhale, folding deeply. Trini, inhale, unroll to set. Chatwari, exhale, step or float, chaturanga, dandasana. Pancha, inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward dog, or an alternative, Shat, exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog, Ujjayi pranayama, in and out through your nose. When your rational thinking mind seeks for more, it says the breath, that's too simple. See if you can redirect it towards the complexity. Research, as it were, what's going on with your breath and the sensations in your body. In your next available exhale, plug into your thumbs and step, hop, or float forward, arrive on your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up pose, Urdhva Hastasana, reaching upward. Exhale, Samasthiti, arms by the sides. Last one, Ekam, inhale, arms up. Due, exhale, folding deeply. Trini, inhale, unroll, halfway lift. Chatwari, exhale, step or float, chaturanga of your choice. Pancha, inhale, up dog or an alternate like cobra. Shat, exhale, downward dog pose. Breathe in the Ujjayi form, in through your nose and out through your nose. And steady your sense of ground under your hands. And exhale, step or float forward, land on the soles of your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up pose, Urdhva Hastasana, reach to rise up. And exhale, Samastitihi, return to neutral. Good. Take an inhale, bring your hands onto your hips. And on your exhale, root down into your left foot. And inhale, bend your right knee and lift your right thigh bone up parallel to the earth. Yeah, so as you press down into your left foot, just take a moment to notice how lifting the right knee up feels for you. If it's too high, remember you can always work from here, just testing balance. Balance is already a tricky minx on one foot. Take an inhale, and on your exhale, cross your right ankle over your left knee, figure four. Begin to bend your knee, your left knee, and sink your hips back and down. And you can move your hands onto that shin, left hand on the ankle, right hand on the knee, and do a little upward facing dog business in your spine. Good. Press into your left foot and inhale, rise back up. Lift your right knee up in front of you. And on your exhale, straighten your leg and try to sweep your foot above the floor. So really lift up out of your left hip so you can sweep your right foot above the floor until it can go behind you far enough that you can point your toes behind you and squeeze through your right butt cheek. Good. And then slowly, again, flex the foot and try to drag it an inch above the floor until it's back in its original position. And you can put your right foot down. All right. Bend into your left knee, lift your left thigh bone up parallel to the earth, and take a moment and notice where the work is for you. And this is just a little balance test. Know that balance is tough. So if you wobble, shake, fall, try to keep your sense of humor. As you're ready, take an inhale, and on your exhale, cross your left ankle over your right knee. Bend your right knee, stick your tail out, sink your hips down and back. You might transfer hands onto the top of the shin, do a little up dog in your heart, lift your chest up, maybe your gaze up, draw your navel back and breathe. Good. Inhale back up through center. Plug into your right heel to lift your left thigh up. And on your exhale, slowly start to extend your leg out long. Flex your ankle and try to float your left foot an inch above the ground. So like maybe it would brush against the ground at the lowest. Yeah. And then when you get your foot far enough behind you to point your toes, do still keeping your foot off the ground. And squeeze through your left butt cheek and just see where the resistance is there. And then slowly flex your left foot and breathing, draw your foot an inch above the ground back towards its original position. And exhale to place it down. Nope. Inhale, take your arms up overhead, reaching upward. Exhale, forward fold, dive all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart straight out. Exhale, forward fold. Bend into your right knee and put your right hand down on the earth or a block or stack of books underneath your nose. And inhale, take your left arm up, twist to the left. Gaze upward over your left fingertips if your neck allows, or hang your head. Now, some of you will do this with both legs straight. Some of us will do it with both knees bent. Mostly we're working on the twisting action. Take an inhale to rotate a little bit further, and exhale, switch it up. Bring your left hand down. Inhale your right arm up. Feel free to bend your left knee, to bend both knees. Put weight in your heels and spin your heart to the right, maybe gazing up past your right fingertips. Take an inhale and exhale your right hand down. And shift blocks off to the side. Widen your feet to be 6-8 inches apart, hips distance. Really talking about where the thigh bone and the hip socket is, not the outside edge. Take 2 peace sign fingers around your big toes for Padangusthasana. Inhale and roll your heart. And exhale, folding deeply. Bend your elbows and pull. Now you always have the opportunity to bend the knees. Just changes where the resistance goes in your body a little bit. Sometimes bending the knees actually gives us more ability to work into the spine, so feel free to experiment. Classic action is to tuck your chin and bring your forehead towards your shins, but you're welcome to be modern and do something else. Inhale, half lift style, unroll your heart. Exhale, hands down. Step your left foot back into a long, low lunge. And drop your left knee down to the earth. Climb up onto right knee thigh and interweave the fingers. Press your pelvis forward and down. When you're ready, take your left arm up by your left ear. Inhale, stretch up. And exhale, side body bend to the right. You can keep your right hand on the knee or reach for the earth. A few breaths here to work into the side seam. Press into the top of your left foot. And allow yourself to move your right leg out if you need to avoid compression. Good, rise back to center. Inhale, reach both arms up overhead. Exhale, cactus the arms to back bend. Bend your elbows, pull your shoulder blades into your middle back and lift the center of your heart up. Inhale, arms up, reaching upward. And exhale your hands to the mat, frame your front foot. Inhale, half split, straighten your right leg, flex the ankle. Now it can be totally bent, right? Honestly, sometimes the work right here is where it's at. You're welcome to stretch your leg more forward if you have more splitting action in you. Fold and hang your upper body down, about 3 breaths. Some of us will sort of turn and floss the hips, rolling the thigh bones in and out in the hip sockets. If that feels good for you, feel free to. And exhale to bend your right knee and plant your foot. Curl your back toes under and lift your back knee up off the mat. Inhale, plank pose, step back. Exhale, chaturanga of your choice. Inhale, upward dog or an alternative. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale your right leg up, one-footed dog. Exhale to scorpion dog, open the hip and bend the knee. I promise we'll return here. Inhale, straighten your leg and reach it back. And exhale, bring your knee to your nose, your chin towards your chest, your shoulders over your wrists. Inhale, one-footed dog, reach and expand. Exhale, knee to nose, chin to chest, shoulders, wrists. Inhale, one-footed dog. Exhale, low lunge. Step your right foot forward and grab it and pull it up. Spin your back heel down for warrior 2 and inhale to rise up. Good. As you settle low into your lunging action, breathe. Reach through your arms. A lot of us know this position quite well, and just taking the time to move it about a little bit may be helpful for some of us. And give yourself permission to do what is needed so that you have the ability to be in the shape over time. And allow your breath to take part in that conversation. All right, there we go. Flip your right palm up to face the sky and inhale to reverse your warrior. Reach out, up, and back. You can slide your left hand down your left leg for stability or reach around for your inner thigh. Plug into your heels, and you don't have to stay incredibly low, but just notice what it feels like to be heavy in your right hip so you have something to reach up and away from. Take a big free inhale in and exhale towards side angle. You can bring your elbow to your knee, your arm inside or outside of your leg. Your left arm can go up or over the ear. For side angle, we won't be here super long time. Hug your back heel down. Apply a little Uddiyana and Mula Bandha. Maybe gaze upward if your neck allows. All right, inhale, warrior two. Exhale, straighten your right leg. Turn your right toes in. Take a big free inhale. Exhale, Prasarita Padottanasana, forward fold. You can put hands on the earth underneath your shoulders. You're always welcome to place blocks or to dangle by grabbing your elbows. If you'd like, you can inhale like a half lift, unroll. Exhale, folding by bending your elbows and pulling yourself in and down by pushing the floor away. Plug your heels down. It's okay to bend your knees, straightening the legs from that muscular point of view. And the ground beneath your heels. Soften your toes. Inhale like a half lift, unroll your heart. Exhale, low lunge to your right foot. Walk your hands around. Inhale, cow lunge. Dip your back knee, lift your heart up. Exhale, cat lunge, straightening both legs. Inhale, cow lunge, bend your knee, lift your chest. Exhale, cat lunge, rounding in. Inhale, low lunge. And exhale, drop your left knee down. Spin your left foot back so it's behind you, and then climb up onto your right knee thigh. A little like, I don't know, you're a pirate or a buccaneer in this position, right? Take an inhale to reach your right arm forward. Then your exhale, reach your right arm down on the inside edge. So this might be when you want to grab a strap if you know binding requires it for you. You can take your right hand, and I suggest turning your elbow forward and your palm down on the ground, and then starting to work that shape behind you. Take your top arm behind your back. Now you might, see my fingers there, grab for your inner thigh and just breathe right there. You might start to turn your arm around underneath you and bring your right hand outside your right foot and work right there. You might also reach around and try to grab your hands behind your back and turn around to show that action like this. Yeah, breathing. If you're grabbing a hold of a strap or something to hold on to, allow your shoulders to soften a little and your wrists to do the work, grabbing actual ends of the thing, and see if you can rotate your heart around that central point. Yeah. Take another inhale. Take another exhale. And slowly unwind. You can drop any strap you might have been holding and let your hands come down on the inside of your right foot. Take your left foot and spin it back behind your left hip so you're in a lunge position. And walk your right foot up and out to the right. Let your hips settle down towards the earth. You can keep your hands on the mat and hang your head. Lizard or dragon pose. You can come down to your elbows or your forearms. We'll be here for 5 or 6 rounds of breath. You are welcome to wiggle it. Some people prefer the lifted back knee version. You're welcome to work around behind and under your right foot, or to reach around and twist for a bind. You may do that all together later as well. You're welcome to add things in as you go. Good. Press into your hands if you lowered to your forearms or a cushion. Curl your back toes under and lift your back knee up off the mat. So keep your right foot wide. Inhale, look forward, shine your heart forward, as Megan would say. And exhale, step your left foot outside of your left hand and squat down. Malasana, Mandukasana, the yogi squat. Now you definitely feel free to sit on something. Feel free to come up on your toes if you need to widen the stance if you'd like. Lift your heart up and drop your shoulders down. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, fold forward. Lift your hips. Let your head hang. Take any props off and out of the way. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Utkatasana, bend your knees, hips low. Inhale, arms up, reaching upward. And on your exhale, hands to heart center, prayer position. Now, from this position, inhale, lean your torso forward, and exhale, twist towards the right. I'm going to hook my elbow between my knees and then straighten my left arm so I've got something to hold. You're welcome to do any version of this you like hooking on the outside edge of your right knee instead. Reach your left arm down if you're taking this variation, and your right arm up. And bend both elbows a little bit, like bat wing style. You have a little bit of zhuzh into your shoulder blades. Good, take an inhale. And exhale, forward fold, release, hang over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, Utkatasana, bend your knees, hips low. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lengthen and tilt forward. Exhale, twist left. So elbow between the knee, Tony showing elbow outside edge. I'm straightening my arm to reach downward and pinning my arm, whether it be your forearm or your bicep between my knees. Reach the left arm up. Bend the elbows a little bit so you have some space to rotate without the shoulder blade freezing up. Gaze upward if your neck allows. Take another inhale. Exhale, forward fold, dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and step your right foot back. Long, low lunge. Drop your right knee down. You can always pad your knee with a blanket or fold your mat over, please, if your patella feels sore. Climb up onto your left knee thigh, interweave your fingers. Press your pelvis forward and down. Take your right arm up when you're ready. Inhale, stretch up. And exhale by exhale, side bend to the left. You might reach left fingertips down or reach up and pull on the hand, breathing now. Gazing upward if your neck allows. Making the choices that make sense for you. Notice where you're holding yourself up and what stops you in range of motion. That's usually a good place to be kind. Inhale, rise up, take both arms up overhead. Exhale, cactus the arms to back bend, pull your shoulder blades down and lift your heart up. Good, inhale, arms up, reaching upward. Good, and exhale, hands down, watch out for house plants in the way. Frame your front foot and inhale, straighten your front leg, half split. Flex your ankle, hang your head over and breathe. Ujjayi pranayama, in and out. In practice, there's often all this conversation about the heat that's created, sort of like sacred heat. Remember that as you work with heat in your body, as you create response and reaction, that you're the one making it, not happening to you, happening from you. Oh, if it's not for you, change it until you find a place that is. And bend into your front knee and plant your foot. Curl your back toes under and lift your back knee off the mat. Inhale to plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga of your choice. Inhale, upward dog or an alternate. Exhale, downward dog pose. Inhale in through your nose. Open mouth, exhale, HA. Breathe in through your nose. Like a lion, HA. In through your mouth, like through a straw. Out through your nose, Ujjayi pranayama. In through the nose, Ujjayi. Out through the nose, Ujjayi. Inhale, lift your left leg high and long, one-footed dog. Exhale, scorpion the dog. Open the hip and bend the knee, and you can move it as you need to. Press into your hands. Inhale, straighten and extend. Left leg high, back, and long. Exhale, knee to nose, chin towards chest, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, one-footed dog, reach, expand. Exhale, knee to nose, chin to chest. Inhale, one-footed dog, reach. Exhale, low lunge, step forward. Awesome. Tent to the fingertips. Inhale, cow lunge. Dip your back knee, lift your heart up. Exhale, cat lunge, straightening, rounding. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, cat lunge. Inhale, low lunge. And on your exhale, let's spin the right heel down to the mat and inhale up to warrior two. Bend into your front knee, settle low into your hips. And again, I know we've been told 1,000 times about this 90-degree bend in our front knee. What I'm going to tell you is you don't have to do it. It can be a bigger angle or a smaller angle as long as there's no pain. Generally, we want to recruit the force of the heel down and the hamstring contracting so that you have space. And same thing, your back foot, plug the heel down, soften your toes, try not to utilize grabbing or crunching the arch of your foot in any direction. Flip your left palm up and inhale to reverse the warrior, reach out, up and back. You can slide your hand to the back of your back thigh or wrap it around towards a bind. If you're doing any of this work, be super kind with your shoulder blades in the back of your body. Try to let them soften towards your middle back. And let your upper neck shoulder region also do a little bit less so that your rib cage, as you heavy your left hip, can get buoyant. Take an inhale, reach up and back. And exhale to side angle pose. Bring your elbow towards your knee or your hand towards the earth, inside or outside of your foot. You can take your right arm up or over, plug the heel down. There's many good ways to do the side angle, but parswa does mean side and kona means angle. So as we think about this angle, often it's defined as back heel through heart, and the angle that you're making with the ground and your body. Gaze up if your neck allows, roll open. Inhale, warrior two, stand up. Exhale, straighten your left leg and turn your left toes in. Straighten your front knee and turn your front toes in towards the other side of your mat. I'm doing the opposite way. You're right, golden. Inhale, lift your heart up. And exhale, fold down. This time, you might choose to be passive and hang. I'm going to offer a little bit of handstand pressing. Remember, handstands, pressing the work is really the thing. So press into your hands, roll your weight into them, and inhale up on towards your tippy toes. And exhale your heels down, 5 breaths. You can keep doing it that way. You can safely press without taking out a child or an animal in your house. Feel free to do so. Keep breathing. Remember, inhale to come up into your toes and hands. And exhale to go back down. Next couple of exhales, let's return the feet to the earth. Like a halfway lift, inhale, unroll your heart. And exhale, low lunge towards your left foot. Walk your hands around towards the top of your mat. Bend into your front knee. Drop your back knee down. And take your right foot and spin it back behind you. So you're in this little buccaneer stance situation. Come up onto your front knee thigh. Yeah, and I'm mirroring. This is actually kind of cool. You get to see all the angles. Ooh, and I can play footsie here with my yoga model. All right. Take an inhale to reach your left arm out long and forward. Exhale, come on down. We're doing this sort of modified form of side angle. And you might start by turning your bottom arm in. Turn the fingertips to point towards your back knee. Dinosaur dog walking through. There we go. And you can take your top arm up and around behind your back for half binding. At any point, if you reach sort of the good work for you, stay and be kind. If you're working towards full binding, you're welcome to grab a hold of your handkerchief, etc. Sometimes you toss it a little bit to create that space. Once you've got a good grip on your action, allow yourself to rotate your heart up and open. Here. Well, I can also give it to you since I'm here. I hand people binding actions all the time. Good, and rotate your chest up and open. Take your top shoulder up and open towards the sky and breathe. Good, and exhale to release. If you are bound up, let yourself unbind yourself and turn towards your left foot at the top of your mat and release your right foot back and long. And curl your toes under and lift your right knee. And make sure you've walked your left foot out to the left. Bring your left arm to the inside edge. And then you might lower your knee back down. And stay on your hands or come to your forearms, the dragon or the lizard action. You're welcome to wobble and wiggle. Know that for some people, this one, if like maybe pigeon is great, this one is your purgatory. Like, know that the place where things are difficult is often a good place to work. That doesn't mean you have to force yourself to eat a meal you don't like every day, as it were. But just notice why it is. Right? Where are your blind spots? How can you let kindness create entryways in? Good. Slowly press up onto your hands if you lower down. Curl your back toes under and elevate your right knee. Inhale, look forward with one or many steps. Exhale to bring your right foot outside your right hand for Malasana or Mandukasana, sinking down. Good. We'll be here for a few breaths. If you'd like to take this into any form of arm balancing, you are welcome to come towards Bakasana to lift up onto your toes. Make sure you're pressing your arms back into your knees or out into your knees as much as you're pressing your knees into your arms. It's optional, which means some of us will be in the mood for it and some of us won't. Allow both things to be true and both things to be valid. Either way, in the next 5 or so rounds of breath, we'll meet in a forward fold with the hips above the feet and the head hanging. Good down dog, Oakland. Good job. If you haven't started to make your way to the standing forward folded shape, do. Good. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart. Exhale, forward fold. All right, bend your knees, sink your hips, Utkatasana. Inhale, arms up, reaching upward. Exhale, Dikasana, arms, hands back by the hips like airplane wings. Interweave your fingers behind you or grab for your kerchief. Inhale, lift your heart up. And exhale, fold your body towards your legs, straightening your knees, hang your head. Let that one big fist come forward and down. Ujjayi Pranayama. In and out through your nose. Good. And slowly exhale to release your hands towards your tail and then down towards the earth. There we go. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, step or float. Watch out, Albert. Inhale, upward dog pose or an alternative. Exhale, downward dog pose and breathe. Take a big free inhale in through your nose and open your mouth to exhale. Inhale, lift your right leg high and long. Exhale, scorpion the dog, open the hip, bend the knee. Inhale, straighten your leg and reach it back. And exhale to half pigeon. Draw your right knee behind your right wrist, right ankle behind your left, and you can walk your opposite foot back if you wish. Now, I suggest that if you're at this height and you want support, you could put a block underneath your front hip or in front of the front of your back thigh, or a cushion if it feels good. If you don't feel like you need support just because you're lifted, you don't have to take support necessarily. You're welcome to stay upright or fold forward and down. If there's any issue with your knee and this posture is not for you, alternatively, you might take Baddha Konasana, folding forward during both sides, or cross your right ankle over your left knee and take the figure 4 version of this shape and breathe. We'll be here for about 5, 6 breaths. I realize we're running over. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to figure out how to teach in time with the leg. We'll do this posture on each side and some back bending and some resting. But if you need to peel out and resolve those postures over the rest of your day, if you have somewhere to be, I mean, A, lucky you, but also if you have somewhere to be, go to town with your own timing, no worries at all. Thank you for your patience as I learn this new vector of teaching. And if you're in the half pigeon, next couple of breaths, take your time to unwind. You might come up and step back to a down dog or move through a vinyasa. You might take one leg up and open to the scorpion dog or the one-footed dog again. And when you're ready, we'll head into the opposite side. Inhale your left leg up. And exhale it open to scorpion first for a breath. Let the front seam of the body stretch. Inhale to reach through it and exhale into half pigeon on the left side, left knee behind the left wrist. And again, it might be the same from side to side, but it also could be different. Yeah, I think a lot of times we're told to put it under the front hip, and it can be really nice to put it underneath your back leg if you can see that. And also, holding up a towel, utilizing blocks, utilizing books, or whatever you have around is always encouraged. I think it's important to remember that the styrofoam block and the rubber yoga mat are pretty new inventions, and the yoga postures are pretty old comparatively. So try to let yourself sit with that process, and remembering, of course, that humanity is even older than that. So notice where you have to respect the history of certain things to create a hierarchy when needed. Take a couple more rounds of breath in the half pigeon on this side. And when you discern it's time to exit, which might be a little sooner, it might be a little later, take your time to come up and out. And you're welcome again to step back to down dog to process. Tabletop and a seat are other places that folks do. You might take your leg out and up. Last opportunity for a vinyasa of any kind. And slowly bring your knees down to the mat and let your upper body rise up. We'll take one round of Ustrasana of camel pose. An alternative is bridge on your back if you prefer. For camel pose, bring your hands to your lower back. You can either do pinkies and thumbs out. I like to do wrists and fingers out. Both are good. Inhale, lift your chest up and press your pelvis forward. And exhale, hang the head back if it feels good for you. You might stay right here and breathe, noticing the uplift required in your heart to maintain softness in your neck. You might reach for your heels if it feels good, fingers in, thumbs out. Continue to press your heart up and your pelvis forward. It's okay to close the eyes or to pick a spot to gaze at. 3 rounds of breath. Exit when you need to. And slowly, when you do come out, lead with your heart. Let your head drag after. And sit your hips on your heels. You might sit upright, or if you know child's pose is the best place, head to it. If you're sitting up, let your palms flip up and your chin drop down. Close your eyes or look down one spot on the earth. And try to allow yourself to notice how things really are. Notice also your ability to be powerful, to have enough agency and sovereignty to pay attention to how things really are. And as you're ready, take an inhale through your nose to acknowledge. And an open mouth exhale. And shift off to one side when you can. And take your legs out long in front of you. And roll down slowly onto your back. Gather your knees into your chest. When you're ready, give yourself a squeeze. You can rock and roll side to side and back and forth and around and around. I suggest that you do twisting as your final actions, but if you'd like to take plow or shoulder stand, if you have safe inversion practice, if you want to take happy baby or anything like that, feel free. Sometimes just wiggling around is best. If you're twisting, drop your both knees to the left. Take your right arm up or out to the right. You're welcome to look to the right if it doesn't feel like a strain in your neck. And you're always welcome to wrap your legs up or take your left bottom leg out long so your right knee has more space to come over if you desire that. And try to become a bit passive for a few breaths. When you're ready, use an inhale to gather your knees back to center. You're welcome to give them a squeeze in center before dropping them off over to the right-hand side, gazing to the left, or gazing straight upright. And again, any variation. Things might also be different from side to side. That's also okay. Symmetry is an aesthetic. Balance is a goal. Good. Come back to center in the next couple of inhales. On the exhale, you might really squeeze your knees into your chest for a couple of breaths. And any last actions you need to take for resting, the offering is that you take them now. that you take your time to move as you need to settle down. And we'll settle down into resting. I will say that maybe you need to adjudicate your own timing and you might exit or mute and just let that be true right now if you're seeing us through the technological phase. Otherwise, we'll rest for about 3 minutes and I'll call you up and out, which will probably put our full finishing time at about 11:45. So just so if you're managing time, I want to be respectful around that. Close the eyes if it's available and relax your jaw. You can do any last fidgets or wiggles that you need to settle down so you feel like you've done what you needed to and can really rest afterwards. Take a moment to slacken your face and your tongue to let your belly muscles soften, your glute muscles soften, your feet soften. And give over any last control you have of your breath to your body. And we'll rest in this way. I'll call you up and out when it's time to return. Until then, practice. Practice paying attention to how things really are. Swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha go brahmanyebhyah shubhamastu nityam Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. If you're resting and need to continue to rest, do. Otherwise, if this is the time to begin to return to the nature of action, begin to return slowly by breathing deeper and longer, by bringing a little bit of manipulation and action back first to your breath. And little by slowly as you breathe, taking the breath back from its involuntary state at the root of the brain, the front, forward, and upper brain, the motor and prefrontal cortex. As you start to take action on purpose in this way, you might start to breathe yourself slowly back to life by wiggling fingers and toes, by scrunching and spreading your face and running your tongue over your teeth, by rolling your ankles and wrists out. And take your time in the next 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6 rounds of your breath. You might roll to your favorite side, gathering your knees into your chest. And slowly take the time to draw yourself back up towards a seat. We'll seal in our practice together. And that closing chant is the traditional closing chant in the lineage of Krishnamacharya, from which Vinyasa Yoga comes in the south of India, Gokulam, Mysore. The overarching meaning is, may the energy that creates know victory over destruction. May the noble practitioners and leaders here be blessed, and may their work be effective and cultivate wisdom and abundance. And may our work seek to contribute to the happiness and liberation of all beings everywhere, inside of this context of universality, non-dualism, and peace. If you like, you can fold your hands in the symbol of non-dualism, the Anjali Mudra, the meeting place between seemingly oppositional forces like right and left, sun and moon, beginning and end. You and all you perceive as not you come together and have a meeting place on the spectrum of everything where they become one. If this hand gesture doesn't symbolize that, hold that idea instead in your mind. Thank you for your time, your energy, your effort. If you wish, you can bring your thumbs to your third eye, acknowledging that the mind must always bow to the conditions of the wisdom of the heart. If you wish, you can bow to yourself, seal in your practice. Thank you so much for coming to practice. I appreciate you.